This is Ron Carter. As we continue our search for the arts and culture treasures throughout Butler County, Pennsylvania, we sometimes find that the journey is as much a part of the adventure as the destination, as is the case with the Musical Theater Guild in Butler and the Glass Blowing Center in Hilliards. So let's hit the road on Show Reel. In Butler County, you might expect to find arts and culture venues in larger areas like Cranberry Township, Seven Fields, or Butler. In fact, the arts are thriving throughout the entire county, including the rural village of Hilliards. Welcome to the Glass Blowing Center. I am with Elaine Donor, the owner of the Glass Blowing Center here in Hilliards, Pennsylvania. Elaine, thank you for joining us for Show Reel.
Thanks for being here.
This is a really gorgeous place, but how did this all get started? How did the Glass Blowing Center come to be in the village of Hilliards?
Well, back in 2005, we were renting on the main road and our rent got too high, so we decided to build this in our backyard, and we've been here ever since.
Fantastic. And how long has that been?
Well, since 2005, so about 13, 14 years now at this location.
And how did you even get interested in glass blowing?
Well, my husband, back when we lived in New York, he saw a flea market where they had a glass blower and became fascinated with it and would go back every weekend to watch him work, and that's what got him started. So eventually he bought a torch, and 22 years later he's still doing it.
So Tom is the artist,
yes,
of the pair.
Yes.
He's the one that creates many of the displays that are out here today.
That is correct. However, I have a consignment shop with 30 different artists, so it's people from across the United States.
Wonderful. And some of the pieces that are here, you had mentioned that they're from all over the United States. Are some of them local?
Yes, I have a few students that live right around the corner that contribute, as well as Pittsburgh, but we have people from Oregon and across the United States as well. So from every state, basically.
Wow. So the artwork that's represented here truly is from all over the country, all 50 states, you're saying?
Absolutely.
And what kind of visitors do you get out here?
Well, we have free demonstrations for the public. We do group demonstrations by appointment, so we have scout troops, senior centers, everybody's welcome. And starting at 12 noon daily, we demonstrate for people that pop in, so you don't need an appointment to see a free demonstration.
Fantastic. So how large are these groups? I mean, do you get a lot of people in here?
We can have up to 75 people or even 100 people at a time.
Wow.
Large groups, but we can have 10 people. Everybody's welcome. It doesn't really matter the size.
So if you're here just walking in after 12, you'll be happy to give them a demonstration, but of course it's better to make an appointment.
Yeah, absolutely. Basically, right over here are some of my husband's little demonstration pieces that he does. So generally, he'll make a little solid sculpture in about 10 minutes or so.
Is this here?
These here. Actually, this.
All right, we'll get this set aside.
Like this dolphin.
Oh, wonderful.
It's made out of a solid rod, just using gravity. There are no tools, so he can do one of these in a few minutes. These garden flowers are done out of a tube, so he can show you glass blowing. So generally, it's about 10 minutes or so.
Fantastic. I guess I got to be careful with these. They make very nice chimes, but they probably aren't meant to be chimes. So I'm just going to put this back here before I have to buy the entire place out. What kind of things do they learn?
Sure, they learn this basically what glass is made out of, which is sand. They learn about the raw materials, natural glass. He'll talk about solid sculpture, making a solid sculpture out of a solid rod. Then he'll take tubing and make ornaments. And then there's a question and answer session at the end. So wherever they go and they say glass, they'll have an idea of how it forms.
Wonderful. And if I were to want more information about the Glass Blowing Center, is there possibly a virtual place I might go to get information like that?
Yes, our website is glass123.com.
Glass123.com. That's
Yep.
very easy to remember. Elaine, this has been a great visit in the gift shop here, but we're going to move on into the demonstration area and the teaching area and see how these wonderful glass pieces of artwork are made. I'm with Tom Donor, the co-owner of the Glass Blowing Center here in Hilliards. And Tom, I understand you're kind of the mastermind behind all of this.
Well, yes. It was kind of my idea in the beginning, and luckily I have a wife that, was very supportive, and she went along with my big, crazy idea.
Well, Elaine gave me a little bit of information about how you first took an interest by visiting a flea market in Long Island. I guess over 20 years have gone since then, but what really struck you about glass blowing, and then where did you take it from there?
Well, what really struck me was that the guy was starting out with just solid rods and hollow tube. Okay, that's the only material that he worked with. And he was making all kinds of crazy sculptures out of them, and it was just mind-boggling. And you know, you're watching them hold a solid rod and it turns to a liquid. When you remove it from the flame, it goes back to solid again. Mm-hmm. Like I said, mind-blowing. So there was nobody around to teach at the time, but he did recommend books and videos to me. One of them was a series of videos by a man named Lewis Wilson, and the other one was a book by Bondu Scott Dunham. Mm-hmm. Bondu, we have a building named after him. We also have the main building here, which is named after my hero, Lewis Wilson.
Really?
Yes, this is the Lewis Wilson building. Over the years, we became friends. He came here for a couple of our conventions. We dedicated the building to him. And his reaction was, I thought you had to be dead to get a building in your name. So, but yeah, that's pretty much how I started. Books and videos. This is way before the internet was big, long before YouTube.
Right.
I would sit there in front of the television set. My wife thought I was nuts, but I would practice spinning the way Lewis would. Okay, learning all the different hand motions. And eventually I bought a torch and started doing it for real.
So truly amazing. You are self-taught at this.
Yes.
And I'm sure hoping that you're going to light something on fire here very quickly.
Yep, everything except myself.
All right, excellent. And not me either, I appreciate that.
No problem.
Because polyester doesn't burn, it melts.
So this is a very unique torch that I have here. It was originally made in Belgium, and I had it modified several times. I can go from a single flame. All right, every time I take it up a notch, okay, I can just go all the way up to the largest flame. Part of the customization process of this torch. I don't know if you ever saw the movie Spinal Tap, where their amplifiers go to 11. I had this renumbered, so my torch actually, instead of going 1 to 6, 1 through 6, it goes from 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. Well, that's one louder.
That is great.
Okay, so what I'm going to make here is a Christmas ornament. Start out with this, what we call profile tubing. This profile tubing was extruded with some lines in it. And this normally comes in 4 to 5 foot lengths, depending on the manufacturer. Very cumbersome to work with. So what I do is heat it up, stretch it into handles, and that is what we call a point.
And we're doing this without gloves. Fantastic.
Excuse me?
We're doing this without gloves.
Oh yeah, glass is a very poor conductor of heat, so my hands will never get hot. I have to introduce this into the flame slowly. I'm working with what's commonly referred to as Pyrex, but the composition of it is borosilicate. You see how close my hands are to where it was heated?
Absolutely.
Okay, some glass blowers like to puff into the tube like this. I prefer a blow hose. It allows me to hold it in different directions as I puff into it. Now, even though you're watching me blow glass, technically I'm not a glass blower. I'm what they call a lamp worker. And a lamp worker is anybody who works on a bench torch like this. It's a term that comes from the Middle Ages when they used to use an oil lamp, and underneath the bench they would pump a bellows to add air to it to make the flame hotter. So I'm keeping this nice and straight, or on axis as we call it. And what I like about the profile tubing is you can manipulate the lines.
Incredible.
So as I heat it, I'm just kind of giving it a little spin. So what I did was I trimmed it off down there. Now this ornament actually came out a little bit lopsided, so I'm not really concentrating too much on the work. Not used to having cameras on.
Apparently neither am I.
Blow a hole through it. Get rid of that. These are called claw grabbers. So I can hold the hot glass. And what we have there is a basic teardrop Christmas ornament. And whenever that's finished, ornament cap.
Wonderful.
It's just that easy.
It is truly amazing. What an amazing process. Now, you don't just create these works of art here, you teach how this is done.
Yes, I do. Yes, we normally teach in the evenings from 5 to 7 or 6 to 8 p.m. This way, it's after hours, so I wouldn't be interrupted, so we can get my full attention. And 2 people at a time. What we do is we'll teach you how to spin, okay, how to gather up a solid rod. And then what we do is we add crushed colored glass to it, which is called frit, F-R-I-T. So you'll add the colored frit, we mix it around and finish it off with a loop. Okay, so we're making colored teardrop pendants.
Wonderful.
And from there you get to go home with 4, 5, 6 pieces that you make yourself.
And do students, do they stay with you for long periods of time?
You can take a class, just, one-shot deal. Like we always get people Valentine's Day. That's always a couple's thing.
Ooh.
Yes.
I'm going to have to remember that.
Yes. Every year somebody, surprises their spouse and brings them here. So yeah, they could take one class, or if they really like it, they can come back and take multiple classes. And then we also rent bench space over here, and our torch space is only $7 an hour, and you can use our equipment, and you can just play around and make things yourself.
That's really amazing. So you will teach, but then you also have like larger demonstrations and field trips and things like that, right?
Yes, the larger demonstrations, we consider it a free community service, and that's for, scout troops, schools, senior centers, places like that, and we could fit up to 100 people in our demo area. But if even customers coming in off the street, okay, family, it doesn't matter. 2 people, they come in, they can look around the gift shop. If they want to see a demo, I'll fire up the torch and make a little something.
And do you get large crowds here?
Oh yeah, we actually had, at one time we had a scout troop that was so large they had to break it into 3 groups of 75 people each.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you had to teach basically the same thing 3 times.
Yes. And we also do children's birthday parties.
Really?
So, yeah, what we did was we had an 11-year-old girl here the other day. It was really great. She said it was the best birthday she ever had. What I'll do is I treat it like a demonstration where I'll make, a solid sculpture or something like that. And then I'll get the kid behind the torch and they get to play around with it. I closely supervise them.
Children in fire. What could possibly go wrong?
What could go wrong, right? So, and the best thing about it is there's no charge.
No charge for
No
a birthday
charge,
party
nope.
like that. That's wonderful. So you have large groups in here for demonstrations. You teach one-on-one or 2-on-1, and then you can have birthday parties here, and the child gets to go home with something that they helped make at the very least.
Yes.
And there's no extra charge for that.
And no extra charge. And they get the bragging rights. Because when they go to school, it's like, where'd you get that necklace? Like, I just made it last night.
That is outstanding. What a great place. And again, something that so many people probably doesn't even know existed until now.
Yeah, we are a little bit tucked away, which some people don't like, but some people do.
Tom, the Glass Blowing Center is a fascinating place to visit. I strongly encourage it, and really, thanks for opening up your facility to show us around on Showreel. I've heard about certain venues facing challenges because of location, but the Musical Theater Guild, that's a story unto itself. But once you find your way through Memorial Park to their venue, it's completely worth it. Oh! I am with Eric Snyder and Barbara Oshie of the Musical Theater Guild here in Butler. Thank you for joining us for Show Reel.
Oh, thank you for having us.
What can you tell us about the Musical Theater Guild, other than the fact that you cannot get here from there? I mean, I swear, as we were wandering around Memorial Park, that I could hear banjos.
Yeah,
but other
we
than
get that
that,
a lot. People have a difficult time finding us. Anyone that's familiar with Memorial Park, you just have to go clear to the back, as if you're going into the woods, and they can find us there.
I see you did there, like a show reference.
Yes, yes. We are musical theater, so that's part of us, you know.
Fantastic. But how did all this get started?
Well, it's kind of a funny story. Back in 1962, there was a barber named John DeRose, and he did a lot of work with United Community Travelers Trust Fund for Special Needs Children. And one of his patrons was Carl Nade, who was very active in local theater. So he approached Carl with an idea of doing a fundraiser, preferably a musical.
Okay.
So Carl went to some of his theater friends, because he's very involved in theater, Bill Leonard and a few others, and they decided to do a musical. So the first show that they did was called The Pajama Game, and Carl produced it, Bill Leonard directed it, and two very popular local talents, Claudette Sanzotti and Wilbur Dunbar, starred. It was so successful, they sold out 2 performances. They did the show at the Butler High School, which had just opened.
Oh, so basically you're in a brand new venue at that point.
Pretty much, yeah. And they made over $2,000, which was pretty good at that time because they only sold the tickets for like $1.50.
Wow, that's fantastic.
So that's how it came about. And they had such a good time doing it, and it was so successful, they decided that they should do more shows because it was a good way to give back to the community and be able to help local charities. So in '63, they became incorporated and registered as a nonprofit, and then they started doing a show every year during that time. In 1969, Bill approached Bill Leonard, who was very prominent in this organization and is responsible for most of what we have today. He went to the city and made an agreement with them to lease us 2 acres here where we are now. So in 1970, they started building the other side, which was basically a scene shop and a place to store costumes and scenery and that sort of thing. So it took us from like 1970 to like 1984 to raise enough money to start this side of the building. And the first show that they actually rehearsed on this side was in '85, and it was Camelot. The building wasn't finished, but it was finished enough to the point that they could use it.
Sure.
And then in '88, it was finally completed, and they did a show here, and the dedication was called The Fantastics.
Okay, that's one of the longest running musicals in history, off Broadway.
Right, and it worked out so well here that they thought, well, we should start doing a summer show here, because we still had doing the 2 shows at another venue, like either the high school or the college. So they started doing a summer show here then, which is a very small, intimate setting, and people started to really like that.
So you've been doing a lot of performances here in this space. Right. Now, as we look around, we can see that it's largely a big empty space.
Right.
So how does it work to create a show here?
Well, we completely turn this empty space into a theater. We have risers that we set up and cushy chairs, and we set those up, about 70 or 80 chairs. And the good thing about this venue is that we can put the stage anywhere. We could put it on either wall, or we could put it in the center, and we could put the seating around wherever we want.
Well, that's a very good point. I mean, you're not restricted. You can make it a theater in the round. You could make it in any part of the area that just works for you for that particular show.
Exactly, and we've had a pretty good success with our shows here, and a lot of people like to come here because of the intimate setting. You can really you feel like you're part of the show sometimes because essentially the actors are almost in your lap, because it's so close.
That's wonderful. So there's situations where these audience members are so close to you, or so close to the performers, they almost become a part of the show.
Mm-hmm.
But then you're also involved from the standpoint that you're just so close and so. It's true. It's really
true.
Like you're a part of the show.
It's true, and
only 70 or 80 people will fit in here.
Right. So sometimes, tickets are limited, so you have to get your tickets, in advance. Or like we just finished doing 6 performances of Nonsense here this summer.
Mm-hmm.
We sold out all 6 performances.
Fantastic.
And that was pretty good. Well, that's a good show.
Sure.
I really love
sure.
that
People
show
are familiar with that
makes
one.
them laugh. And we've been doing this for 55 years.
Incredible.
We've done over 163 performances roughly. We've done shows at the Knights of Columbus. We've done shows for them.
Mm-hmm.
We've done shows at the Sawmill Theater in Cook's Forest. And then, of course, at the junior, senior high, intermediate high, and the suck-up.
Where are you performing primarily these days?
The Butler County Community College Cycle Theater.
Theater. Great.
That's a very nice venue for
It
us.
is. We had an interview previously with Larry Stock, and they've got a great program there as well.
Well, Larry works with us too. He's actually directing our current production.
Oh, fantastic.
So all the organizations, the performing arts organizations kind of work together, and we all go back and forth between. But people don't realize how much talent there is in this county. If you've never come to a production, you should actually check it out.
Excellent.
Because we do have a lot of talent, and everyone is volunteer.
Mm-hmm.
No one gets paid to do a show here, except the orchestra, of course.
Of course.
That you have to pay them. But
well, a little bit more of the history. It wasn't just live performances. I mean, there are other children's shows by chance.
yes, we had a girl involved with us. She used to do props all the time. Her name was Mary Jo Moon. And we started doing puppet shows for children at schools and churches. And these are the puppets.
Oh my goodness.
Now, Carrot Top
What
was
are
in
these?
Carousel back in 1963. That's how long she's been around.
This puppet's been around since 1963?
Yes, and so
Have all
has
these been
this
that
one.
way?
All these. And the kids
Oh my
loved
goodness.
the puppet shows. It was so much fun just to see their faces.
The kids love all the puppets, including
all the
this
puppets,
one?
Including Ronaldo. You think that they
He looks a
wouldn't,
little
but
frightening.
He is a little frightening, but
It's like, oh, here I come! Ah! Get away, kids, get away!
yeah, so
Fantastic.
that was a lot of fun. We used to do that. Oh, we haven't done it for a good many years because Mary Jo passed away, and so we haven't done puppet shows for a while. But we do other
that's
children's
great.
shows.
We'd love
And
to
we
see more of
used to
that, I'm sure.
used to have a group of singers, the MTG singers, and they used to go around and perform it, for different organizations, and they've done things with the Butler Symphony. So we've done a lot of performing in and around town. And
That's amazing. So that's quite a colorful history that the Musical Theater Guild has.
and
That's wonderful. And Eric, how long have you been involved with the Musical Theater Guild?
I did my first show down here in 1982.
And what show was that?
Jesus Christ Superstar.
Oh, I see. That is a popular one. And what role did you play?
I played one of the disciples. I played Bartholomew.
Oh, that's fantastic. So you really do have quite a history with the Guild here, right?
Yeah.
And you're currently serving as its president, is that correct?
Yes, I am.
And if I wanted to find out about what was happening this season at the Musical Theater Guild, what can you tell me what's coming up?
Oh, well, a good place to find information is on our website at www.mtgbutler.org. But we're doing 3 shows this year. We're doing Beauty and the Beast, Disney's Beauty and the Beast.
Okay.
We're doing First
Gotta
Date.
get that Disney in there.
Oh, yeah, you have to.
The lawyers, you'll hear from the lawyers. So Disney's Beauty and the Beast.
First Date.
Okay.
And Jerry's Girls.
And what's coming up first? What could possibly be coming
Disney's
up first?
Beauty and the Beast. Our season, our tickets are currently on sale for this show.
And the dates are?
Let me think. October 13th, 14th, and 15th.
Fantastic. And this is going to be produced where?
At Suck Up Theater
Suck Up
at
Theater.
Butler County Community College.
Fantastic. So that is the first show of a 3-show season, it sounds like. Is that right?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
We have 4 performances. There was a special matinee added Saturday at 2 p.m.
Oh, fantastic. So
Under
you're already adding shows.
Sponsored by Butler Eagle.
Very
They have
good.
reduced children's prices for that show.
Wonderful, wonderful. So after Beauty and the Beast, what's coming up?
First date.
Okay.
First date.
And what time of the year is First Date going to happen?
It happens April 20th and 21st, and the 27th, 28th, and 29th.
Okay, and is that going to be,
2018.
will that be in this space, or is that going to be
Yes, it'll be
someplace
at
else?
the William A. Leonard Performance Hall, right in this room.
Fantastic. And then the next show after that would be?
Our summer show is Jerry's Girls, and that is July 13th and 14th, and the 20th, 21st, and 22nd of 2018.
All right, terrific.
And that again will be down at William A. Leonard Performance Hall.
We noticed, of course, the William A. Leonard sign as we came into the space today, and it sounds like he was certainly an integral part of the development of Musical Theater Guild. And so, why is his name on the plaque outside?
Well, Bill Leonard is responsible for most everything that we have here.
Mm-hmm.
He dedicated his life to Musical Theater Guild and local theater, and everything that we have is due to Bill, because he worked so hard at making this organization successful and getting the volunteers and the donations and everything. And Bill, I started here in '79, and Bill was always here.
Mm-hmm.
And he taught me so much, and he taught all of us so much about how to do theater, how to build scenery, and how to produce a show, and all that. And everybody just loved him, and then we referred to him as Uncle Bill because he was just like that to everyone. He was like your uncle.
Fantastic. So he loved everybody. He loved teaching. He loved sharing his knowledge of theater and making sure all the programs were going on
and
here.
Then he got sick, and in 2009, I was president then, and some people approached me and they said, you know, Bill has done so much for the organization. We want to do something for him.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when we decided to rename this rehearsal hall side in his honor. At that time, it was in his honor.
Mm-hmm.
Now he passed away, so it's in his memory.
Okay.
And that's the William A. Leonard Performance Hall. And we wouldn't have what we have now if it wouldn't have been for Bill. And of course, you know, they had the charter members like Carl Maid and a few others that got everything started. But Bill was a very important part.
That is absolutely terrific. And then I also heard something about that the Guild has memberships, and how does that work?
Yeah.
Yes. If you purchase a membership, you can vote for officers
Okay.
at our annual meeting.
So you're actually involved. So you're actually if you become a member, you become involved in what happens with the organization.
Yes, you do. You get the opportunity to purchase your tickets early. Ticket sales open up a couple days early, and you get first choice in seats. If you purchase a membership, you get tickets with it, and that's actually a little bit cheaper than purchasing the tickets.
Wonderful. So,
savings there.
As a member, I can vote for board members.
Yes.
I can have a say in what's going on with the organization. I get discounted tickets for shows.
Yes.
And if I want to become a member, how would I go about doing that?
You could download our brochure off the website.
Mm-hmm.
It's on the website.
And that website again is?
mtgbutler.org.
mtgbutler.org. Well, it certainly sounds like you have a very, very robust program, a very rich and colorful history, and it's very exciting to have something like this here in the Butler area as long as you can find it. So it's wonderful. It's a great venue, very intimate space, rich history, and we're very excited that the Musical Theater Guild is here in Butler. We really appreciate you taking the time to talk about it on Show Reel. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
On today's episode, we found that arts and culture are thriving even in the more remote parts of Butler County, Pennsylvania. And there's still more to discover. So be sure to join us next time on Show Reel. If you would like to find out more about arts and culture in Butler County, PA, be sure to visit the online calendar on the website of the Butler County Tourism and Convention Bureau.